Okay, good afternoon. We've got Mark Walker from Ashridge Security. So, Mark, if you could kind of introduce yourself, tell us what you're about and more about the company as well.
Okay, so I'm Mark Walker from Ashridge Group. I'm chairman of the company and a director and owner. We've been established since 2012. I served for 12 years in the armed forces, and I work very, very closely with the police, so I have an idea of exactly the things that the serving police officers have gone through and experienced, and also their skill set. And moving on from that, obviously my transition process was very much like those being the services. So yeah, I've got a good understanding of what's going on there.
Okay, well, that's good. And I know that you've been going for these kind of 5 years and you've just been growing exponentially, because I do watch what's going on LinkedIn in particular. So, and again, I know from previous discussions you and I have had that you seem to be increasing in your workforce, but specifically what kind of skills are you looking for across the group?
Strangely enough, a lot of the skills possessed by police officers, serving and ex-police officers looking to come out into the career space are exactly what we're looking for. So we're looking for people with good self-motivation, discipline, professionalism, and obviously ethics and professional responsibility, which are really quite an important part of our compliance package for everything that we do and provide to our clients.
Right. That's interesting. I was talking to a guy from Canada last night, and he was talking about values. I think he was getting mixed up between values and skills, but he did talk about values, and that's the kind of thing that you're discussing. The police officers usually come out with some really good values, and it's been instilled in us throughout our careers. I'm sure it's the same in the military as well.
Yeah, and we've incorporated different values into our business. You can probably see over my shoulder there, we've got our values listed behind us. And they're an important aspect of our business, and they're kind of a code that we live and perform by, in our professional standards, really. Obviously, professional standards are something that is greatly heightened in the police, and is an intrinsic part of their career. So that also, transponds quite easily over to what the things that we do in the security industry.
Yeah. In terms of police officers themselves, then, Mark, what skills are you looking for? I've got the values bit. What kind of skills are you looking for Ashridge Group then?
Good communication. It's very important. You could be talking to people that are senior senior clients, and people at all levels in our organisation. So it could be senior managers, directors, frontline officers. We also work with other organisations. We work with, obviously, police. We work with local authorities. We work with some C&I clients. So it's being able to converse at all levels, both verbally and written. Obviously, most police officers do have a good sense of verbal communication anyway, and they communicate all areas of the public. Team players, that's something obviously that the police do very well.
Yeah.
Leadership. Leadership's a good one. You don't necessarily have to be a manager to be a leader. But we need people that can take control, something that the police are very good at. They can take control and make a decision. Whether the decision is sometimes right or wrong, that doesn't matter. It's the fact that someone has brought themselves forward, taken on the challenge and said, right, I think we should do this because everything that I understand about it believes me to think that would be the best decision to make. Yeah. And obviously, life experience. Life experience forms, a great part of everybody's background.
Yeah.
We don't look so much for levels of education, because I think to be part of the police service, you have attained a level of education in itself anyway, and a level of communication. So yeah, they're the key aspects. Obviously, there are hundreds of thousands of things for different roles, but project management is obviously a good one, and most police officers have project management skills, being assigned various projects throughout their career.
Yeah. I'm just conscious here. I've just reflected here in the last 5 minutes. I know what you do, but I've just realised anybody watching this might not know what Ashridge Group actually do in terms of a deliverable, in terms of output. So you're able to kind of let people know exactly what it is that you do and across the different functions that you do it?
Yeah, of course. So Ashridge Group are a security and facilities management services provider. So what we do is we provide man guarding, key holding, and dog handling, etc., to sites and to protect people and places and assets. The facilities management management side is where we look after buildings, fabric of buildings, and keep them running efficiently, so that the people housed within just have an easy life, really, and can go about their day-to-day business without having any problems.
Okay, and you can see now where the skill sets would easily transferable across to do the things that you're asking your guys and girls to do then.
Yeah, that's right. We also have a specialist consultancy, which is Cognitious, and that deals with counter-terrorism and resilience, business resilience against terrorism and criminal activity. And that's been very popular, and also, you know, we've utilised a lot of ex-police officers, as you know, for the skills, the specialist skills that they have in those areas.
Yeah, and again, I'm guessing here, I know I have seen your website a while ago, but is all this kind of information available on your website? Yeah,
it's all available on our website. I can provide the information later, or obviously I'm sure you'll put a link up anyway that can do it rather than read it out. So.
We'll do that for you. Don't worry about that. One of the areas, Mark, we talk about when I'm interviewing the ex-cops in particular is about CVs. You know, we're good at doing it internally inside the police organisation, whichever organisation that might be. What we're not so good at is doing the CV ready for people like yourself and able to kind of transfer our skills on paper so that you know what you're looking at and, you know, and who's coming. So any hints and tips you can give to ex-officers or people looking to maybe come across to you?
Yeah, of course. CVs that we tend to receive from ex-policemen, ex-police women, are very well constructed, very well written. You can tell there's a certain amount of diligence in spellings and things like that. Although that's a small thing, some employers will use that as the final sift, really. So that's always something to make sure that you've taken care of and get someone else obviously to have a look at. One thing I would say is just simplify everything that your roles and responsibilities that you've had. Right. So take yourself kind of out of the scenario of being in the police and have a perception of someone that's not been in the police. So if you've any acronyms in there, used any job speak, it may be easier just to break that down and to simplify it. And also, if you're applying for a position, put it into the context of the position that you're applying for. So show your experience that you've earned within those roles and responsibilities, and that can carry over to your job or the career that you're wishing to start.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we've had this conversation with a few others and a few employers, funny enough, about, you know, I was a patrol sergeant or I was a custody sergeant, and that tells you nothing.
No, that's right. What does that mean? You know, if you've never worked with the police or been part of that, what does that mean to people? You know, I think it has to be broken down and simplified. Yeah.
So you're looking for somebody to tell you what they've actually done.
You know? Exactly. Yeah, exactly that.
What they've done and what they've achieved, so that you can actually tell what kind of person you have in front of you.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. And then, so let's just say we get people that get the CV. You give it the big tick in the box, and that's managed to get through the first hurdle, as I call it. So then you've got, Mark, people come in front of you for interview, or not necessarily you personally, but certainly your colleagues. So how do ex-police present themselves coming for interview then?
Okay, from our experience, always impeccably dressed, very smart, very well presented, which we'd always expect with public services anyway. Yeah. A few tips I would give though are, again, not to use acronyms. Mm-hmm. Not to use job speak, to break things down, and offer to explain to break things down as well. Yeah. I would say treat your interviewer as if they don't understand, because nobody minds being taught to suck eggs. Yeah. You know, it's better to explain things fully on the understanding that they might not understand. On top of that, if you are, say, in receipt of a pension, and this is a second career, yeah, I would say if you're asked, talk about it. But don't make any comments to say that actually you don't need to work. Yeah. Because sometimes that can be very off-putting for employers. Because obviously employers are looking for someone that can grow with them. I mean, we love taking people in that we can grow and nurture. And we've got several examples within the company of people that we've taken from whatever career they had before, and we've just helped them and developed them along with our business, and they've grown with our business into larger roles, which is fantastic. But that's if we didn't think that person had that drive, then they might not be that candidate that would be right for that position. Tell stories. It's really good if people tell stories that enable an explanation of things that they've done that are in alignment really with the position they're applying for. It helps. Storytelling's been done for thousands of years, and it's a great way of getting things across to people, in an easy manner that people can understand. So I'd say always try and tell a story if possible. Be yourself and ask lots of questions. Ask lots of questions of your prospective employer. Ask them how they treat people, what benefits are in place, not just monetary benefits, but things like health and well-being. Do they have any health and well-being policies? That just things that will tell you what the culture of the company is like, because company culture is what's most important here. If you have a great company culture, then you know that the employees will be well looked after. There will be great retention, and your colleagues and everyone will be happy, and it will be a less of a challenging environment for you. So that's something that's very important. And I'm always, within our own organisation, we're always happy to be challenged on culture. I believe we've got a good culture. I mean, our retention figures, support that.
I think, Mark, did I not read that in an article very recently that you and Emma put in a magazine, in a journal?
I'm sure you have. We've had quite a few publications really, because we're trying to be outside of the general perception of what the security industry is like. So you probably have read that somewhere,
Yeah, that's good. No, it's absolutely bang on. The point I picked up amongst all that, some really, really good stuff and good hints and tips for guys and girls who are going to be looking for interviews, etc., was this thing about, and I have seen it, where cops will mention, I'm on a pension, I don't really need this job. It's almost like they're kind of trying not to sell themselves. It's like, oh, we really need you, but no, we don't. And it's that can kind of, it's almost setting themselves up for failure. I mean, fantastic, you've earned the pension, everything like that. Just probably don't advertise, that you wouldn't necessarily need that work. It will work, a lot better for people that doesn't. And again, Mark, I hadn't thought about the longevity of the role. That because I've told you this now in an interview, you'll be thinking, well, how long is Rob going to stay with us then? It sounds like he's almost on a bit of a hobby for a year or two, then he's going to get himself out. Whereas, like you say, you've got quite long-term careers going for guys and girls that want to kind of build a second career over maybe 10, 20, 25 years even.
No, very much right. Yeah, very much. Very correct. And that's, that's an issue that could be faced, and I want to push people away from that. Second careers can be fantastic. People can really find themselves with a second career, but just move on with that. And the other thing is not to refer to when we were in the police, and it's the same in the armed forces. When we were in the armed forces, use that when you have to, but don't refer to it all the time.
Yeah. I got that. Definitely got that. So looking at Ashridge Group then, Mark. So, and I know you do put a lot of adverts. I saw one out just the other day for people in London. So when you put it out, what are you looking for, or what should the members be considering when they look at your adverts?
First of all, I'd say have a look at the role. Do the attributes and your career profile, does your past career profile, does that fit the criteria that we're looking for? If it does, start looking at your past career and look at various things that you've done that really focus on the key criteria. Think of case studies, think of examples, and then you can utilize those in interview very effectively. But it's a constant ongoing thing of challenging yourself really to say, how can I like that job, how can I fit that profile, how can I stand out in front of other people, and what experiences have I got to demonstrate and to evidence what I've done.
It's interesting, we had another interviewee and we talked about competence-based job applications. So, and again, the language that you've just used about making sure that application fits with the job description. I mean, is that something you'd be really focusing on in terms of taking people on there, in terms of is there a fit there between what they're telling me and what I actually need in my JD, job description? Sorry, atomize it.
No, that's right. We would look for that. We'd also look for people with potential that perhaps haven't quite met the criteria, They've demonstrated that they can perform up to that criteria, but they've got drive and willingness to go further, and they've got aspiration. You know, if we've had some really passionate people come in for interview, you know, that have stood out above you can feel the energy when they walk into the room, and they just want the opportunity. And you know, it's not, the criteria is obviously there. However, if someone shows strong enough aspiration, for a company like ours, it's definitely something that we would appraise and look at.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I like that. Really good. I like that one altogether. So in terms of police officers, have obviously got certain skills. They've been on loads of courses during the police mark, as you know. Would there be anything in terms of self-development that you would give advice on for somebody that's leaving the police and perhaps looking to go into one of your many opportunities that you have?
Yeah, before they make the decision that they're going to leave, I would say to contact organisations like yourselves, and bodies within the sectors that they feel that they might want to move into. Make contact with them, perhaps even join as a student member, and find out more about the day-to-day life of the career that they wish to pursue. I say to do that before they leave, because grass is always greener on the other side. However, they might decide that the challenges that they're presented at the moment far outweigh the ones that they could be presented to in civilian life. So to do that, obviously to do a lot of research, find out exactly what is required to work within the industry. So, for instance, if you were looking at the security industry, if you wanted to work within most large companies, you would need an SIA license of some sort to work in that area. So that's something that you would have to have before you start applying for positions. I would say to put you ahead of some other candidates. Also look at qualifications that you could have. So there are security management qualifications, and there are all sorts of things. But really, if you go towards the organisations like Security Institute and other ACES and other related organisations, they've got some really great people there that can help steer people to the right career paths. Because there are so many career paths and so many avenues for people, especially leaving the police. That I would say to speak to these different organisations, see what's available, and find something that's right for them. But ultimately research will get them to that point.
Yeah, I like that. And it is, again, what we found from the interviewees thus far, it is about planning ahead. And we've heard one or two scary stories that people resign and then start planning, and you've got a huge gap. You know, that 6 month gap where there's no money coming in, or there might be pension money coming in, but it's a bit scary.
That's when peer groups are wonderful, you know, and I know that you know everything that you're doing, you're providing a forum for people to talk to each other, and peer groups are amazing. You know, if anyone's thinking about leaving the police force, sign up to a peer group. You know, talk to other people, undertake the courses that they hold, because these courses are run by people that are experienced, that have been through this, and they're there for a reason, because they help and they make the transition process much more simple.
Coming near the end then, Mark, so hints and tips then for people wanting to join the security industry, you know, cops and maybe some police staff as well, but cops, PCSOs, and hints and tips about what would you give maybe a top 1 or 2 tips for them?
As I've said, have a look at organisations. If they want to work within the security industry and in a certain area, get in touch with some companies like ours, and ask if there's an opportunity to get work placement or a day when they can come in and just have a look around to understand better what they do. If you identify a company that has a history of wanting to work and wanting to take in people from various services, then you'll probably have a much better opportunity. And you know what? Even write a letter. If I've had one letter, and it's, you know, it was outstanding just to receive a letter. I never received letters, lots of emails. It was great to receive a letter, but it makes an impact. And if you see that someone has taken the time to contact you, and it's clearly not a cut and pasted email, then that's fine. But speak to colleagues, because they'll all know which companies are the great companies to deal with. Find out ones with great culture, ones that are friendly, ones that are open and encouraging, and contact those companies.
That's good, Mark. And again, not on our list, but I know that you use social media a lot, which I think is really positive stuff. But again, how might people engage with your organisation via social media, for instance?
Okay, so obviously we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn. We will always publish any recruitment opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
On Twitter. But I'd say, look, we've got our contact details on all of our social media. If you want to get in touch with us personally, then do so. You know, we're always available via LinkedIn or any of those mediums. We welcome work placements. We welcome, you know, having showing and sharing our success. So I'd welcome people getting in touch with us.
That's good, Matt. That's really good. And again, I know we didn't discuss where you are in the UK, but from my memory, I think you're quite well spread throughout the UK. Are you not? Yeah,
we're based in the home counties, but we're a national company with offices and satellite locations throughout the country. So we do offer, opportunities in different areas. Currently, we're recruiting in the north, in the Manchester area, and in the south for management roles. But obviously, this is ever changing as we grow. I mean, the great thing about the security industry, the growth last year was between 10 and 17%, looking at different reports. So there's an average between 10 and 17% growth.
Yeah.
We've grown 98% in the last year. So that, and we've taken on an additional 25 employees in the last 6 months alone.
Right.
So there is massive growth, and that's throughout the industry. There's massive growth, and I would encourage people, if they are leaving the police force, to have a look at the security sector.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I know you're probably going to join us in our closed Facebook group, so people will probably be able to get a hold of you through that as well. And I'll make sure that we provide the links to your organisation for our members, and that's growing exponentially as well. But 98% is a phenomenal growth for you and Emma at Ashridge Group there as well. So well done to you. And I know we've known each other for a few years now, and it's great doing business with you. But really great hints and tips there for our guys and girls that are joining as we speak.
No, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And I think police officers and ex-police officers have to think that they've made a selfless contribution to the country. Yeah. So I think employers, we should give something back and try and help people progress. It's not easy. You make a lot of personal sacrifices in performing your duty. So why can't employers give something back and give opportunities?
Love it. That's great. It kind of fits in with our phrase of we're helping police officers to help themselves. That's what we're doing. Or police officers that suit
exactly
the civilians to help themselves. And it sounds like you're with our mantra and doing that as well. Great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But no. Thank you, and good luck to anyone.
Simon, we'll be in contact today, but thanks much for your time today, Matt. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.